It became painful, physically painful, to be around people who were content in living their lives unhealed. And so I desperately wanted to contribute to this world. I desperately had an inner knowing that I was put here to make this world a better place, to elevate the frequency of the planet, but I could not figure out how. So, bam, I went on monk mode. I changed my number and I fasted. Best choice I ever made. Before I start talking about going on monk mode, I want to say that I do feel like now I've made full circle to where I'm ready to bust out back to the world. You know, when I initially decided to go on monk mode, it was because I felt like there were so many influences on me that were beyond my control. And I feel like I couldn't become the person that I was with all these people around me, right? So I always resented the way certain people in my family would act. And as a black woman, as an African American woman, I remember when I was in high school, Skyline High School, and I was like trying to blend in, but I just never really, I pretended well, but it was never really me. I feel like a lot of the girls in my school was like you know, like all this like and I felt like an Oreo, but I blended in well. You know, I had my grill, I had everything other people had, I had it too, but like deep down inside, I would listen to Drowning Pool. I was listening to Korn. I just was not like, I had two faces basically. And so I feel like I had started living life that way too. And I feel like I was everything that everybody else wanted me to be. Like, I always been a rebel. Like when everybody in my school went to SFA or PV, I went to TSU. Like, I tried to go a little bit outside of the path, but I still pretty much for the most part, I stuck with societal norms. When I'm gonna be real with you, as a child, I wanted to go live in the forest. Yeah, I had a fixation with Amish people, and I admired the fact that they never participated in the mainstream world. And not that I wanted to be Amish, because, you know, a lot of terrible things have came out about their religion, but I'm not judging them in any type of way. Because I'm sure just like there's good, there's bad. People talk about police officers just like there's good, there's bad. People talk about teachers just like there's good, there's bad. So there's duality in everything. So no judgment there. But I always wanted to live in the forest. So I decided to go on monk mode because I realized how much programming was inside of me. I'm going to give you an example, and this is with no hard feelings. I started meditating, right? And my third eye I just started observing all these things around me that were just wrong. And I saw other people falling for the illusion. Like, I had a family member that wanted to go to nursing school. And while this other family member loved them dearly, they constantly were talking about it to me, saying, I don't think she should go to nursing school. Nurses, this is a bad career. And I'm like, no, nursing is actually not only very flexible, not only a very smart career, but it's also a very lucrative career. And the outlook on nursing is very positive, especially if she wants to become a nurse practitioner. No, don't do that. But this is the same person that also told my other family member not to be a truck driver, and now that family member is doing nothing with their life. I remember Jay-Z, or somebody prolific, I think it was Jay-Z, he talked about he wanted to be a rapper, and his uncle's like, that's never gonna work out. Like, yes, your family love you, and it's all from love, but they project their fears and their failures onto you unconsciously. And subconsciously, you're picking up on those things. I remember one of my cousins, when it was time for him to go out to school, his own family told him, there's no point in going, you're just going to come back home like everybody else. And he did not go. I've watched family members turn other family members against other family members because of their experience with that family member. And I've watched that family, the other family member, believe them and believe the illusion. I know that I'm trying not to say names or be disrespectful because I love everyone, but it was just so much going on around me. Then I had people that were in relationships for the status quo when I could look and see that something clearly was wrong, but nobody else was saying nothing. Like, I could look and see that this is this person don't even like, but I just started to see fake and phony. I started to see people pretending. I started to see things that people didn't see for themselves. And I always use this example. It's like if you dancing in the mirror and you're like, and your brother come in there and be like busting and be like, ah, ha, ha, look at you, you can't dance. And there you are like, I can't dance. And then you don't dance for 20 years because your brother laughed at you and said you can't dance. Like, your family can be they can bring you up, but at the same time, they can bring you down. And it wasn't just my family. Why I'm saying this, it was everybody's family. It was my experience working in working. It was everything. So I decided to go on monk mode, to go within myself and figure out who I was and what my mission here on earth is, because I do feel like we're all here for a mission. You know, at that point when I went on monk mode, I had already cut off social media because I realized, like, yeah, duality is real. It can be used for good or for bad, but I feel like from what I saw, the people I was around, it was so much violence. It was being used for bad, and I wasn't with that. My first fast was a 3-day water fast. I read, I can't remember what book of the Bible I read. Now, I use the Bible as a tool. I'm not with organized religion. I use the Bible as a tool because there are a lot of tools in the Bible that can definitely, help you along your spiritual journey. I can't remember. Maybe, hopefully I can post it if I remember. But I just literally open the book and I say, God, whatever it is that I need to see, this is what I'm going to start with. So during my 3-day fast, I read that book of the Bible and I meditated on it and I studied on it. And it was right on point. It was exactly what I needed to see, exactly what I needed to hear. This was in, I want to say November. Another reason why I decided to surrender and go on the monk mode, because I reached a point in my life to where I feel like the people who were supposed to be there for me were not there for me. And I kind of I reached a point of, okay, is this the life that God intended for me? Because if so, this is whack, this is bogus. Like, I don't want no parts of this. Like, let me go. It was a breakthrough moment. I was pushed against the wall where I had to surrender to God. And the only people that I talked to was people in my household, my husband, and my 2 children. Now, we did have to drop my children off on Christmas break with my husband's people, so I did have to interact with them, but I try not to interact with them that much, and they probably thought I was being funny. Just like a lot of people in my family, like, I've heard so much people talking bad about me. Like, basically, a lot of people have decided to cut me off from me going on monk mode, and I didn't explain nothing to nobody. They even tried to start saying, oh, to say stuff to my husband, saying he's keeping me away from them. My husband would take a picture of me, like, smiling, laughing, or eating. He's like, y'all, she's right here. Like, please stop putting me in this. I'm not telling her anything. She's deciding to do this, because my husband didn't even understand. But it was something I had to do for myself. It was something I had to desperately figure out what service I was here to give the world. So anyways, I went on my 3-day water fast, and I had great experience doing that. It was on my 2nd water fast that I started to have prophetic dreams. I did a 5-day water fast. I did a 3-day water fast, and then like 2 weeks later, I did a 5-day water fast and 2-day Daniel fast. So overall, it was a 7-day fast. I was meant to go 7 days with no water, but I ended up breaking my fast on the 6th day, and 6 and 7, I did a Daniel fast. 6 days later, after I ended my fast, I had my first prophetic dream where, I was basically told who I was and what my role was in this world. And I'm trying not to, I'm not, a lot of things I can not reveal, some things I can, and some things I'm not quite sure what I should or should not reveal. So I try to not say anything too much, because this is my journey, and I would never push when I'm doing on others. I always tell you to go within yourself, and you will know what to do. I had a number of prophetic dreams. I also started to have see things. I'm not even gonna say that. I really got tuned in. My third eye became very open, and I started to notice that I had certain things that I was capable of doing that I did not know. I'm gonna bring up this one thing. Yeah, a lot of people laughed at Kevin Gates, and I'm not saying that Kevin Gates is a real spiritual person. Drika could be the real spiritual one, and he could just be copying her lingo, and I don't know. But a lot of people laughed at him when he said he started that car. He said that it was a woman stranded on the road, and he do publicly say that he going 40-day water fast, right? Jesus did 40-day water fast. His disciples did fast, and him and his disciples all healed people. They all did things that the average person couldn't do, and what they do, they killed him. So I'm gonna just say that, I'm gonna leave that there. But what Kevin Gates is describing that he did is a possibility that someone could have done that. I'm not saying that he did that, but what I'm saying is that intention and belief goes hand in hand with what we're capable of doing. We are beings that are capable of doing anything. And we have been convinced by mainstream world that we're not capable, but we are. And I'm not even going to talk a lot about that because I don't know what it is. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to reveal too much, but I'm going to just say that, do you do it? Surrender to God. Ask God what it is that I desire to know what my purpose in life was. Whatever questions you have for God, surrender to Him and start fasting. And you're going to see your life change. You know, the Bible talk about Him making you brand new. Like I said, I feel like I'm ready to turn back to the world now, but like I have been made over. Like you feel a fire within you. You know, I started doing a lot of Kundalini meditations. I started doing, more recently, I've been doing pineal gland meditations. But I've been doing meditations on shadow works, healing my inner child. I remember when I first felt the energy within me, I was doing a meditation on forgiveness. And it was like I felt the energy traveling up me, and it's like I had a burst in my heart. And forgiveness I had a wave of forgiveness just come over me, and I cried. And that was the moment when I forgave my mom. This was like maybe December or January. But I started to realize like God is love. Like, I don't know. But anyways, like I just had a beautiful, beautiful experience, going within. And like, I feel like I've activated everything I need to do within myself. I'm trying to choose my words wisely because some people not tuned in to, they're not tuned in. So I'm fully activated. And I realized a lot of my songs were like foretelling what is happening with me or with others. Because literally I would put something in my song and I would see somebody else talking about it or experiencing it. And I'm like, whoa. I never even saw The Matrix. And I made my song fully activated. And I realized that, there's some similarities there. And then, I'm just really tuned in. I'm tapped in. And I have this inner knowing in me to where I'll meditate for like 2 hours. And now I'll come back from my meditation just knowing some stuff. Like, I began downloads like all the time. Like, it'd be crazy. I began downloads like all the time. And the more time that goes by, the more my eyes are open to like reality. And I'm no longer like participating and going along with what others say God is and who others say God is. And I'm not even going to tell you who God is. What I am going to tell you is that I want you to do the research on your own. I want you to see God for yourself. I want you to fast, meditate. I want you to spend time with yourself. And everything you ask God to reveal to you, He will. I don't even want to say too much about my experience, but it led me to know exactly what I'm here for. How God wants me to be of service. Like, if you watch a lot of spiritual podcasts, Know Thyself. I couldn't even think of a lot of different ones, but ooh, I was watching a podcast like 2 days ago with Billy Carson. He described the experience that he had that sent him screaming through, because I ain't gonna lie, like a week after I had an experience where I saw something, and like for a week I didn't want to sleep, because it could be kind of frightening. It can be kind of frightening because if you be careful what you ask for, because if you want to know something, you'll find out. But he had an experience, and it ended up leading to the demise of a relationship that he had with one of his children, because he went screaming through the house once it happened, and his child got so terrified that they still don't talk to him to this day, because they don't understand. And that's the thing about when you choose to go on this journey, you got to understand that when the people around you don't choose to go on this journey as well, they start to drop off, because they think that you're being selfish. They think that you're like judging them. They think you're cutting them off because of judgment, but really they don't understand. You're cutting them off so that you can choose yourself first, so that you can learn how to love yourself, so that you can learn who God is and who you are. And sometimes when you're a yes man like I was, when you're a people pleaser like I was, that can't be done when you're still attached to others, because people subconsciously plant seeds of doubt in you, or plant seeds of just different information in you unintentionally. And I hope that makes sense. And monk mode is a real thing, guys. A lot of people experience it. A lot of people have to do this in order to find themselves. And I've realized it's something that my soul has always desired to do. I always said I wanted to go live in the forest. I remember I told my husband that. I met my husband at 18. I told my husband that. I remember telling my mama that. I've always wanted to go live in the forest. Why? Peace. Love. Inner peace. Aloneness. Like, I've never been one for the masses, you know. Never really cared for large crowds. I'm good at blending in. I'm good at pretending. But very neurodivergent. Very much a starseed. Very highly intellectual for no reason. Like, I was a person that could sit down in class, not pay attention, and get an A on every test. I didn't do no homework. I didn't do no other stuff, but the intelligence has always been there. Now, social skills, not so much. And so if you know anything about starseeds, if you know anything about things like that, you already know what that means. I'm not of this world. And now I know that I am not of this world. And I embrace that. And I'm happy to know for sure that I'm not of this world. I want to see if I can find something. Before I even realized who I was, before I was shown who I was, I had wrote down a list of reasons how I know I'm not of this world. I want to see if I can find it. Also, scripting. I've been doing a lot of scripting. Like, I woke up at 2:02 a.m. because I wrote it down on January 7th, and I just started scripting. 24 pages. And a lot of the things that I've been dreaming and experiencing, I see so many other people say it after I experience it. So, reasons I know I'm not of this world. I never understood human interaction. And in my song Alien, I talk about this a lot. So I always needed someone to take care of me as a kid, a teen, and a young adult. So I always had friends that kind of would be like, come on, do this. Come on, we're going to do this. I was never like, I just didn't understand what was happening or going on. Everyone seems mean and evil to me. Everyone seems mean and evil to me. And I'm just like, why aren't people nice? Why aren't people nicer? I've always been drawn to the moon and the stars. I have an attraction to the moon. Like, I love the moon. And I talk about this in my song Alien as well. And I always felt adopted as a kid. And I remember asking, was I adopted? But I look just like my mom and my daddy, so I'm just like, how can I be adopted? But I would constantly ask if I was adopted. And I never felt that connection. Like, other people be like when someone win the lottery per se, or a basketball player get that new, and this video getting kind of long, but a basketball player get that $1 million deal, and the first thing they say, okay, I'm gonna buy my mama a house, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. I never, like, there's been like I don't know, it's not, I just don't feel like that, like that attachment. And I've always felt like my body is like a shell. Like, I feel like my name was given to me. Melanie was given to me, but my soul is not Melanie. Like, I'm not my body. This is a meat suit. I am, why I go by goddess, because I'm my soul. I'm not, But anyways, I just really, 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 love that I've returned to myself. I've returned to love all my teachers. I've learned to love myself. I've learned to forgive myself. I feel like I've reached a point of acceptance. Excuse me. I reached a point of acceptance, and now it's time to go to work. Like, it's really time to go to work. Now that I know what it is that I'm supposed to be working on, it's time to go to work. You know what I'm saying? And so I feel like my experience going on monk mode was life-changing. Like, I literally know who I am. I know how I'm supposed to elevate the frequency of the earth. I know everything I need to know. And, like, every time I meditate, I know more. How? And literally, most of my inner knowings come to me in poetry or music. Because I swear a lot of stuff I put in my song, I just be trying to think of stuff to rhyme, and I go back and read it and look at it, and I'm like, this literally described, like, what I wrote a song, and I hadn't experienced what I wrote about yet. And then I went back 6 months later and listened to my song, and I was like, this is what I'm experiencing right now. But it's crazy to me that it's insane. So I know that my music is not for everybody, but I know it's for special someones. Those, it's for 144. The 144 is for those people who know it's for them. That's the best way I can say it. But yeah, I feel like going on monk mode was one of the best things that ever happened in my life. I feel like there's no way I would have experienced and realized who I am without going on monk mode. I pushed myself during that time to do things I never thought I would do. I pushed myself to push past fear. I pushed myself to stay away from low frequencies. I got rid of shame. I got rid of guilt. I got rid of fear. And anytime I do feel fear, I talk to fear and I say, fear, thank you for trying to protect me, but you are no longer needed. Goodbye. And I tell it to leave, and it leaves. I literally, oh my God, I love nature. I love spending time in nature. I've gotten songs downloaded into me just from touching a tree, like interacting with trees and thanking trees for giving us oxygen. And when I started doing that, I felt a little like girl, why are you sitting here talking to trees? And then I came across a documentary where in indigenous cultures and like Indian cultures, trees are sacred. And they acknowledge that every tree, every plant has a soul. Even rocks have souls. And they honor nature. They don't hurt nature. You know, me being from the United States, you know, me having these conversations with people can be taboo. But then when you realize that the world is so vast and that, yeah, you feel this way because you're tapped in. And I feel connected to nature in a much deeper way. I feel one with everyone. I feel one with everything. I try not to harm bugs if I can. I try not to harm anything or anyone. I try to live a nonviolent life. I try to always foster peace. But this is a dual world. Without darkness, there will not be light. Yes, I am light. But I don't want to do what most spiritual teachers do and pretend that I am always just like blissful and no. I get upset, I get angry, but regulation is a thing. You gotta know how to regulate your anger. You gotta know how to return to yourself, and I always return to myself. Every morning when I wake up, I visualize the life that it is that I desire, and I visualize it as happening now. I have certain mantras and words that I say to myself as soon as I wake up. I always wake up with a smile on my face, and I visualize my best life. Like every day I tell myself that I'm on my highest timeline of highest possibilities and highest outcomes. So there's things that I do to keep myself returning back to myself. And the main thing is remembering that I am love, that God is love, that you're not judgment. Because as soon as you fix yourself to judge someone, you're really judging yourself. I try not to, try not to think harmful things about others. If I do, I acknowledge that I did something that wasn't right, and I forgive myself for that. And at the same time, I tell myself that it's okay to dismiss that thought, and I let that thought go. If I experience something that's hurtful, I try to sit in it, acknowledge my pain, acknowledge how I feel, because I feel like, well, I know that's where illnesses come from, particularly cancer, autoimmune diseases. They come from anger. They come from resentment. And I'm gonna be real, a lot of men, there's studies that show that men that are married that have daughters have longer, healthier lives. That's because the women in their life push them to go to the doctor. At the same time, we hear commercials all the time about men and colon cancer. At 40 years old, men have to go in and get checked for colon cancer. Your gut is a intricate part of your body, and holding on to things can be very detrimental for your health. And a lot of men hold on to things. So I feel like, matter of fact, I ain't gonna say I know there's a direct link there between health and mental health, and just how you view yourself, how you view your world. I've been around people, I've grown up hearing, man, men ain't nothing, men ain't shit, men ain't good, men ain't that. But I never subscribed to that belief, and I'm still with my husband to this day. We've been together 16 years. And lucky for me, my husband is actually Jamaican. So I feel like if I was with an American man, this whole spiritual journey would have been very hard to explain. But I'm with a Jamaican man who grew up around spirituality for the most part. So this is something that, while he didn't understand me going on monk mode, and he also really encouraged me not to do it because he didn't want me to cut my family off, because he felt like they're gonna blame it on him, and for that did happen. But it was something that I had to do that was beyond me. But other than that, he fully understands. And but yeah, I feel like the rewards, I've lost a lot of family. I'm not gonna say that because that's speaking negative. Based upon things that have gotten back to me, a lot of people have badmouthed me and spread negative propaganda about me because of me going on monk mode. That's because they didn't know I was going on monk mode. They think I just changed my number and cut them off to be evil. People have said that, like, oh, she's allowing the devil to keep us apart and things like that. Like, no, I'm simply going within myself and figuring out the truth. But so when I do return, if people don't, choose to interact or talk to me, I'm okay with that because, like, Steve Harvey and his son had to have a conversation. And his son said, I resented you because you wasn't there for me, but I realized that you weren't my dad. You are the world's dad. You're a dad for the world. And so I'm okay with sharing you with the world. And so the people that decide not to interact with me, I'm okay with that because I'm not here for pleasure and for what makes me feel good. I'm here to be of service. I'm here to make this world a better place than what I got here. I've always been interested in just lifting the frequency of the earth and making this world a better place. And so if I lose my family in order to help millions of people, I'm okay with that. Because I know that I'm doing this with no negative intention. I know that I'm doing this with no resentment in my heart. I'm simply doing this in order to fulfill my destiny. And that's another thing. As humans, we're all put here with a purpose and a plan. But a lot of people end up wasting their days away going out, partying, having fun, when we're not here to have fun. We're here to make the world a better place. You're here to make it better than when you came. If you're not contributing to uplifting the world, then you are, my friend, leading to the world's demise. And especially, when you want to talk about the new earth, right? Because that's another term that I was given in my dream. And it was like, whoa, where did this... I started hearing other people saying it. And so it was just like, yeah, we are all connected. Like, God is doing something. It's insane how so many people are getting the same messages. But at the same time, so many others have no clue what's happening, what's going on. But I know now that I'm not here for the few, I'm here for the many. And a lot of prominent leaders had to, unfortunately leave their family behind in order to become the prominent leader that they are. And that's not in a negative way, but it's like, if you choose not to use your gift, if you choose, and this video getting long, if you choose not to become who it is that you were sent here to be, then you gotta do it again. And not only that, the people who are waiting for you to come and help them, if you never come, then you never help the other person activate the Christ consciousness within them. You never help the next person learn how to use the gift that God gives them to make the world a better place. So it's like a trickle-down effect. So you can be selfish and choose worldly pleasures, or you could choose to be of service. But we're here to be of service, basically. So, yeah, I give monk mode a 10 out of 10. After I did, and sorry, I'm kind of jumping around, but yeah, after I did those 2 fasts, I went on to do Daniel fast. And then I did a 21-day Daniel fast. And then I did another 3-day water fast. And then I've been doing some 20-day fasts, basically eating once a day, fasting for 20 hours, not 20 days. 20-hour fast. But yeah, it's been pretty dope. And like every time a fast cycle ends, it's like I get a whole new download of information and of spiritual gifts and of like direction. And I'm really enjoying it. Like, and when it happens, I'll be so like so happy. I'll be so thankful. Like, I'm just so happy that, you know, that God chose me, or that, you know, I kind of, I don't know if I want to use chosen anymore, because now I realize that I chose this myself. So I'm happy that I woke up and that I realized that Earth is not here for us to party and have fun. It's actually a reason we're here. We all have divine missions. And that's why the world is in the state that it's in, because so many people are not fulfilling their duty of what they signed up to do on Earth. And it's leading to the Earth's demise. But I know that things won't stay this way for long. Matter of fact, I'm not even going to claim that it is like that. This is, you know, the Earth already is beautiful, and everything that needs to happen is already happening. The people that need to be activated are already activated. And I just want there to be more and more and more. But yeah, I really, really, really enjoy going on monk mode. I would recommend it for anyone. Do you want to cut everybody off like me? That's up to you. But if you are a people pleaser, or if you're easily convinced by others, then that might be what you need to do. But I hope that everything I needed to say, I said, and I hope that the people that need to hear this, if this comes across your timeline. But yeah, monk mode has been very good to me and my spiritual gifts, and my you know, me understanding what it is that I'm here to do. I ended off my monk mode with a spiritual retreat, and I posted a video. If I post this in order, I plan to post my spiritual retreat video first and then my monk mode video next. So either before this or after this, more than likely before, you will see a video on my experience going on a spiritual retreat. And I did talk about monk mode a little bit in that video, but I kind of went into more detail on this one, talking about the different fasts that I went on and how that tied in to me understanding my role on Earth, my mission on Earth, basically. But I want to bring up this book because I did get it on my spiritual retreat. It's called Shine Through Wisdom, and it is written by a monk. She's a part of the Jainism religion, which is connected in some way to Hindu. But I don't mind looking and studying different religions. I'm like a sponge. Actually, like, I love like taking in everything and then deciphering what I want to keep and what I want to weed out, you know. I read my Bible. I decipher what it is that's, you know, meant for me to keep, and I weed out those things that's not supposed to be kept. This one, Shine Through Wisdom. I can't pronounce her name, but this is how you spell her name, and it's called Shine Through Wisdom. Hopefully this is not backwards when it's shown on the screen. No, my child did not write in this book. Show did. Really, 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 really enjoyed going on monk mode. Very life-changing. If you don't know who you are, if you don't know, this reminds me of the movie Wanted with Angelina Jolie and the young boy. I don't know who I am. And then finally she stopped. Like, that's what you're here to find out. Like, if you don't know who you are, you don't know why you're here, you don't know what your mission is, you don't know what your gifts are. We all are spiritually gifted. There's no one that's better than anyone else. We all have divine. We all are divine. We all are divine. So I fully recommend you going on monk mode, cutting off, you know, social media, all those outside stimuli, all those outside sources. I'm not a doctor, so I can't tell you too fast, but I can tell you what I did. I did multiple fasts. You want to work your way up, start off with, you can do a 24-hour fast. Or like what I really recommend, I recommend you eating once a day. Try to eat once a day. I eat at night because that's the time I will munch. So I made my once a day, and at nighttime I would eat from 7 to 11. And I was fast those other 20 hours. I will only eat 4 hours. And then you move on to a 24-hour fast. Then you can move on to a 36-hour, then 48-hour, and then eventually a 3-day fast, and then a 5-day fast. And then if you can make it a 7-day fast, some people even do 14-day fast. I got the best benefit from my 7-day fast. And I didn't even do a full water fast. I did 5 days of full water, 2 days of a Daniel fast. And then after I did that, I started doing Daniel fast. And then after I did that, I became fully vegan. One thing I can definitely tell you is that you want to drink up your water. I'm not an expert, but I want you to know you should drink probably 120 to 150 ounces of water a day. That is when I didn't feel dizzy or lightheaded when I did that. If I drank under 120 ounces while fasting, I would feel like a little lightheaded, a little, not so good. So I think the key for me was water, hydration, and I'll be fine. Actually, by day 2, after you make it past day 2, you actually feel good. You start getting that pep in your step, and you start feeling like, oh, I can go forever. The only reason why my 5-day water fast I had to come ended because I stopped drinking so much water. And by day 4, I had drank maybe like 3 bottles of water, and then by day 5, I ain't really drink much water at all. So I was feeling a little wonky. So that's why I ended up ending that fast. But anyways, I'm rambling at this point. But I definitely recommend going on monk mode to anybody who is seeking to know who you are, and you can't quite figure it out. All right, guys. I will see y'all next time. Bye.